Hi, I'm Mary Matz, creator of Twisted Yarns. Many of you love to make moss stitch blankets, but how do you finish it? With edging, of course. In this video, I will share a super easy edging that is made just for the moss stitch. That means you can make your afghan as big as you want and then finish it off with this one row wonder. First, learn how to start the edging in the corner, since that is the easiest place to start. Then, we practice a series of basic stitches along the straight edge. Third, we master turning the typical corner while in pattern, and then finally finish the end of the round. But stick around for the entire video, because at the end, I share 9 tips and tricks to take the guesswork out of creating perfectly edged corners, keeping the sides even, straightening out little boo-boos, and starting the edging in the middle of a side. If you want to download the companion pattern, follow the link in the description below. Also in the description, you can find the timestamps for this video, so you can jump ahead and back again as needed. Let's start. If you've been following along our other video, how to crochet the moss stitch untwisted with self-striping yarn, you'll understand we are changing our direction in this corner. And even before I go to do the edging, I like to turn it. The first thing is I'm going to insert my hook into the corner space, pull up a loop, and complete a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll the chain over to expose the third loop on the back of the chain. Insert your hook in the second chain from the hook under that third loop and yarn over and pull through and complete a slip stitch. You're going to do this in all 3 of those chains. Because you skip the first one, we have 4 chains, you skip the first one and then you do it into the 3. Then in the corner space, you're going to work another single crochet. Now, you're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. Roll it over. 1, 2, 3. That's starting in the second chain from the hook. We'll do a few more so you'll get the gist of it. Now we're going to work a single crochet into the next space. You see how that works now? You can see it a little bit better now that it's tied down. We're going to chain 1 and work a single crochet into the next space. So that's 2 single crochets between the little fat fringes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, the third chain from the hook, and the 4th chain from the hook. Go back to the next space and single crochet. So what that does is on the side, it's placing the fat fringe right over the little single crochet that you have in that row. And the reason I use a short fat fringe, you could make it longer. If you were doing a solid color afghan or a one that has really wide stripes, longer ones might look really nice. I like to keep them shorter when I have narrower stripes so they stay in balance with the rest of the blanket. In the next space, single crochet, chain 1. In the next one, single crochet and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll it over, insert our hook in under the back loop of the second chain from the hook, pinch down underneath and pull that loop through to slip stitch it. It also makes your slip stitch so much, your fringe very, very even. There you go. Then go into the next space, single crochet, chain 1, next space, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going into the corner. So I'm just ready to put my piece of fringe right over that end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll it over just like before. And insert in the next space. But this is the corner space, so we're just going to do a single crochet and chain 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch in each of these 3. And another single crochet into the corner. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into these. So what we have in the corner is 3 little pieces of fringe coming right out of the corner. Let me go on to the next part. So I'm going to do a single crochet into the next available space, chain 1, another single crochet in that space, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, let's go back to the corner and look at it. We come right into the corner and we do that first chain up. Then we have a single crochet, chain 4, 3 slip stitches, a single crochet into the corner. So there's only 2 single crochets in the corner space, which centers this one coming right out of the corner. Is that not cute? Isn't that cute? And then we start it up again with this one coming up with chain 4, 3 slip stitches, and then we're on to the next side. And that is our last space on this side. Then we're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4. Do our slip stitching in the back of that chain. And our last stitch, we've already done 2 single crochets into the corner. So all we have to do at this point is slip stitch to that first single crochet and end off. Determine where you want to start the edging, at the corner or on the side. We already pointed out that starting in the corner is the easiest solution. But sometimes it's necessary to start on a side, especially if you are continuing with the same yarn as the last row. For now, place a marker in the space where you are going to start the edging. We will return to the exact how-tos later. Count the single crochets on each side of the blanket. Include the corner stitch on each end in your count. There are 16 stitches on each of the shorter sides and 19 stitches on the longer sides. To avoid recounting, put the number on painter's blue tape and stick it close to that side. If the number of stitches on a side is an odd number, as in these cases, your edging will work out perfectly. If a side has an even number of single crochets, like on our shorter sides at 16 stitches, then mark the center of those sides, as an adjustment will need to be done right around the marker when the edging is crocheted on that side. If adjustments are done at the center or close to the center of a side, they are not visible. For the moss stitch pattern, an adjustment will always be either an increase or a decrease in the edging. These will be demonstrated later in the video, as there are some tricks to it. Increases are always preferred to decreases. I cover decreases only because there may be multiple circumstances and decreasing is just one more tool in your toolbox. I'll show you an example in a minute. In this sample, the opposite sides have equal numbers of stitches, as they should. But sometimes things happen and they don't match. When this occurs, the edging can smooth out differences that would give your secret away. This is another valid reason for making adjustments. For example, let's pretend the opposite sides don't match. If this happens, first compare the numbers of stitches on one side versus the number on the other side. Let's pretend the short side is 16 and the other is 17. Since we need to reach an odd number anyway, increase once on the side with the 16 stitches and leave the other side as is. That was simple. Let's try a harder one. Let's pretend the short side has 14 stitches and the opposite side has 16 stitches. In this case, I would increase one on the side with the 14 and decrease one on the side with the 16. Or you could increase 3 on the short side and increase 1 on the other side to bring it up to 17. However, for such a small piece, that would be a significant change. So in this case, the first option would be preferred. But if the piece was much larger, with say 48 single crochets on one side and 50 on the other, it would be very easy to increase 3 on the side with the 48 and increase 1 on the side with 50, so they both have 51. If you have to do a multiple of adjustments on one side, spread them out evenly across the side. We decided this is where we were going to start our yarn. So you need to do 2 things. One, you need to count the single crochets. Go to the corner to the right of where your starting point is and count the single crochets. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This would be the 14th on this side of the marker. If the starting point is the space before an even number single crochet, you want to start in this space with a single crochet, chain 1 in the space, and then a single crochet, chain 4 in this space, and then continue your pattern. If it's an odd number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the 13th would be this one. If the starting point is in the space before an odd number, start with a single crochet, chain 4, the slip stitches of course, and then a single crochet, chain 1 in the next space. Those are the 2 important rules. It'll all work out. If you were doing an increase over here or a decrease over here, you would need to deduct 1 for a decrease, add 1 for an increase. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is before an odd number. We're going to pull up a loop with both strands, the feeder yarn and the yarn tail. We're going to pull through, and that just starts us out. In that same space, we are going to work 1 single crochet, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, do our slip stitches, single crochet in the next space, chain 1, and continue your pattern. All you have to do is when you finish your 4 chains and your 3 slip stitches, instead of going into this next space, just go into the same space that you came out of. and you've just made an increase. Then single crochet and chain 4, because you've already done your single crochet chain 1 over here. Now we do a single crochet chain 4 and do our slip stitches, and you will have 1 extra stitch on this side. Most people, if they needed the decrease on a moss stitch, would insert their hook, pull up a loop, then insert in the next space, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Well, that's all well and good if this color of the edging was the same color as the throw. But if you turn it over, that there's this little funny little bar that goes across it. Now, there is a way of getting rid of that. So we have just finished one of our little fringes. So our next step is to do the decrease. So we're going to insert our hook in the next space, pull up a loop, yarn over the hook, and then insert our hook in the next space, because we want these 2 spaces to become 1. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on the hook. Chain 1, then go into the next space and work a single crochet and a chain 4. You've just executed a decrease and then went right into pattern. Now, if you look at this side of it, it looks just as neat on this side as it does on this side. I hope you enjoyed edging your moss stitch blanket. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy crocheting!